Men will fight on the hill on a football Sunday, and the Kansas City Chiefs will still win. Boo! That's right. Might talk some football today. 49ers. My San Francisco 49ers. Michael Shacker's San Francisco 49ers took the L against the Kansas City Chiefs. It hurt. It hurt a lot. I only threw my hat once, but we rebounded. We're here today. Shacker, I'm hoping we can get through this. First off, I'm on the limited sleep plan. 4 hours of sleep for 2 hours of sleep for your boy, because he went to bed at 4 a.m. Then woke up at 6. He's burning the candle at both ends here.
Were you in Vegas?
Yeah, that's exactly. I was at the Super Bowl, had to get on my private jet. Late night, it was the private jet the studio funded, so it was a scary little ride, turbulence the entire way. But that's where I was. That's right. But no, the last couple weeks have been very hectic, right? We've done some last minute changes, moved some courtside around. So I wasn't here last week. I wasn't here the week before that as we were, changing some things up. And I'm back now. So hopefully I'm not too rusty. Hopefully we can get through this. I mean, the Niners, they had 2 weeks off, and then they couldn't score football. They had to throw the ball to their wide receiver and have him throw it into the end zone to score a touchdown. It was terrible. Oh, let's look at some YouTube real quick. And I know this is some of it's catching up. It has nothing to do with me. Talking a little bit about what happened there with Chad in the previous show. Can we talk about Tony Romo for a second? Can we talk about? I hate being that guy. I don't like talking on the guys in our industry, the talking heads and such. But Tony Romo was bad. Like, he was bad. Like, let me just say the most obvious thing, and then let me talk when I could let stuff breathe. Like the 30-second rant at the end on the game-winning score, like the broadcasting 101. Let the crowd do the talking, right? Let the crowd do the talking. Like one of my favorite calls. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Red Sox are world champions. It's a great call by Buck. Now, could you imagine as Fenway faithful are just going nuts? His color guy just comes in and goes, "Oh, yeah, man, that was a great out. The way that they went down there and they got the ball and he threw it to Doug Minkiewicz. It was just picture perfect, Joe. You got to give them credit for how they play." No, just let it breathe. Let it breathe, Tony. I mean, I didn't watch a lot. I saw some highlights. I mean, SpongeBob and Patrick, I thought they did a pretty good job. I saw videos of Dora the Explorer explaining what a holding call was. Pretty genius there for old Nickelodeon. But that game was brutal. And we're going to get into Blazer talk. I assure you, this is just the first time in front of the mic. I got to get 49er talk off my chest. But we will talk about, I haven't had a chance to talk about it with you guys, so we're going to talk about Dame's return, which was now a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. But we got to talk about that. It was a pretty eventful night at Moda. And then also talk about the trade deadline that went down last week and see what the Blazers did or did not do. We'll get your thoughts on it if you want to join the conversation and talk maybe 49ers, Chiefs, or Blazers trade deadline or what have you. You know what to do, 503-248-0620. Or go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and we'll pop right up and you can get your comments off in the chat there. Have some fun with it. No, but this game, my boys, Dwight and Chad, and then every other talking head. I walked in here right now before the show, Shacker. I don't know, you heard me. Mics were off. I looked Chad dead in the eye. I said, "Get out of my chair. You make me sick." he just looks at me like, "Whoa, Burkhardt coming in hot." And I go, "Your guys' Brock Purdy hate. I can't deal with it."
Just hate on his Broncos. That's all you need to do. If you ever have any anger towards them, just rip on the Broncos. Where were they this year in the postseason?
Yeah, the closest they got to the Lombardi Trophy was John Elway walking down the line there to hand it over to the next guy in line with that corny smile of his. All right, yeah, Chad, that's where the Broncos were. I thought Brock Purdy played well. Faced a lot of pressure, especially late in that game. Kansas City drew it up. Defense was on point. Got to give old Andy Reid credit. He knows what he's doing. Mike Shanahan, he knows what he's doing until overtime in the Super Bowl hits. And apparently he didn't go over the game plan for that one because nobody knew what the overtime rules were. Now, funny enough, people are going to dog Shanahan, and they should. He's an NFL coach, right? NFL coach should know the NFL rules. But I do know that as soon as they went to overtime, everyone at my Super Bowl party, at least, they looked at each other and they're like, aren't there new rules for Super Bowl? Like, what are the rules? And then someone had to, explain it, the one person that knew it, because no one knows. And why do you have certain overtime rules for the rest of the playoffs, but they're different in the Super Bowl? And then they're slightly different in the regular season because you end in a tie. It's just weird. Just weird. Yeah, they didn't bash him as much. They held back. Lisa. But Noah's a Purdy hater, and I might have to text the man when we're done because I don't know why. He called him average. The numbers he put up this year were anything but average. Some of the balls he throws, anything but average. I don't know if they would have won, I definitely would not have put Brock Purdy in the Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, Nick Foles category, which is what Chad was doing there, which is also interesting, though, because, Brad Johnson was a pretty good quarterback, right? So was Trent Dilfer for a time. Nick Foles had one good little tiny run there. But no, I love Brock Purdy. And I, as a 49er fan, everyone wants to find excuses. Oh, it was Christian McCaffrey's fault. He didn't run enough. It was Debo's fault. It was George Kittle's fault. I actually thought they played one hell of a game. And if the Chiefs are so good, Shacker, the Chiefs are so good that they're back-to-back champs, and everyone's talking about, can they go win it 3 times in a row with the greatest quarterback to ever play the game? Took them overtime and right down to the wire to beat the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers played a hell of a game. One hell of a game. Easy to nitpick when your teams lose. But did Brock Purdy play bad? Heck no. He played better than he played in the previous 2 playoff games. And also, you know what he did in those previous 2 playoff games? Did what great quarterbacks do. They were getting walloped by the Green Bay Packers, and he turned it on in the second half. They were getting doors blown off by the Lions. Brock Purdy turned it on. Had a good game. He had a good game in this one, too. Not everyone played well. The biggest key to me, though, Lisa, you could chime in. You were watching the game. Biggest key to me in this one, I think it changed the entire game, and it's not getting enough talk because everyone wants to focus on Purdy because quarterbacks, they get the praise when they win, and they're the fall guy when the team loses. The biggest difference in this game happened when that freak injury happened to Greenlaw. When Greenlaw went in there and has what a reported possible Achilles injury, and he was done for the game, that was when the Kansas City Chiefs targeted his replacement. Weren't getting as much heat on the quarterback as they were with him in there. He was a highlight reel for the first few plays of that game. I thought he was the best player on defense for most of the playoffs. Outperformed my guy Fred Warner, who I love. Outperformed Bosa, who's been great. Greenlaw was a stud. So when he got hurt, that was terrible. Really changed the dynamic. If you had him and you still had Hufanga, who's been out all year, things would look a little bit different. This is what I do. I come here and I hit this mic and I talk myself through the pain that has been the last 22 hours dealing with this one. How'd you handle it, Shacker? I know you're a Niner guy, too.
I did good. I wish you were doing this show mid-June, talking about, the Blazers came so close.
One day, man. One day. We will be here.
But, yeah, I took it bad, but, I'm moving on. I had such a fun season. I've been watching football since August when the preseason started.
Yes.
Loved every minute of it. Bummed that the Niners didn't win. Can't wait till the next season.
Just knowing you, I'm glad that you got to watch the Super Bowl and you're not like, I was so busy. I have it taped, so don't ruin it for me.
I had to watch it with people who aren't football fans, so I had earbuds in so I could hear the radio call.
Okay.
So when everyone's complaining about Romo today, I didn't even hear any of that.
Well, you got lucky then. He was not good. He was not good. He started out really good. People loved him because he was breaking down the plays. He was calling them before they happened, and now he's just trying so hard to keep doing that. Like, you know what's going on? Just talk about that. Sometimes you make some stuff up. Like, I don't know if that was really a first down. Let's look at the replay. What are you talking about? He got the first down by 2 yards easy, and you're over. I don't know, Jim. That's close. That's really close. you need to go get your contacts checked, my man. Like, are you looking at the wrong feed? Did you get bored and put a highlighter on the screen that you look at, and that's what you think is the real yellow line because you can't differentiate it from the one that's on the screen superimposed? Like, come on now, Tony. Come on now. Be smart. It was a good game, though, fans. It was a good game. I thank you for tuning into this Blazers show and allowing me to vent for it. Makes me feel good. Talk my way through the pain that was watching my San Francisco 49ers once again lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I still don't have a Super Bowl victory that I can remember. Yes, the 94-95 season, but I was 8 going on 9. I don't remember it. Only thing I remember from that game is the image of Steve Young, right? He won. I remember that. It's like Jordan with the trophy, Kobe with the trophy. I remember Steve Young post game. That's all I remember. But in my adulthood, I remember losing to the Ravens, losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Chiefs again. Life is pain. Pain is life. Kudos to the Chiefs, though. Travis Kelce was great. Taylor Swift was great. Give her props. Jason Kelce might be the most entertaining man in America, at least the most loved by so many. It was kind of nice. Yes, Mika, it was terrible. Did get good reviews for my talk Purdy to me T-shirt. I still I was thinking during that game too, Mika, that everyone's talking about the tush push, right? The Phillies thing. I think if the Niners ever get into a situation where they got to do a tush push, it's no longer the tush push. It's the dirty Purdy, right? You need to gain 1 yard. It's time to run the dirty Purdy right up the middle. See what you get. I would have liked to see it in this game. Unfortunately, wasn't in the cards. There's always next year, though, right? Right? That's what we tell ourselves to get through it. Football's awesome. Football's awesome. Except when you're a Duck and a Niner fan in the same year and you have to swallow losing to the Huskies twice and then losing the Super Bowl. Things are tough. Could be worse, though. Could not even been in the playoffs. So I'll take that trip to the Super Bowl. It was kind of nice. It was kind of nice. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on, what show is this again? Oh, that's right, Courtside Monday with Chris Burkhardt. I'm all over the place. I don't even know what show I'm hosting. I had to do the Blazers pregame show last week, which I'll be doing again tomorrow, by the way. It was really hard to cut to break and not stay on Rip City Radio 620. Yeah, got to get used to that. There's too much going on. When we come back, though, friends, we are going to talk Blazers. I promise you, so don't go anywhere. Chris Burkhardt here, talking Blazers on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Courtside Monday. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Having a little bit of fun at my 49ers expense. Yeah, that's right. Ripped me in two. Shacker's very good when it comes to picking songs. Rough night. Rough night. But now it is time to talk Portland Trailblazers. And before we get into the main topic, and that is kind of what the Blazers did at the trade deadline and how things are going to go on moving forward as they enter, the last handful of games here, we got to talk about Dame's return, which was almost 2 weeks ago now. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to talk with you guys because I missed a courtside because we were shuffling the deck chairs, so to speak, right? And all moving parts going on here. And I got to talk about it and how we felt. And how did you it was special, right? I thought it was special. Everyone asked, what was it like being in the arena for that? And the atmosphere in Moda was great, right? It felt like a playoff game. The place was packed. Fans were on their feet most of the night. They brought the energy. The Blazers got the win over the Bucks. Nobody saw that coming, right? You spoiled Dame's return, but at the same time, it was all cathartic, right? Because you just got to get it all out. You got to share your love, show your love from Dame. I always thought that was the hardest part of the way the things went down, is because the Blazers went into a tank season again. Sidelined him just a handful of games after he had dropped 70. And then what was Dame's final game in a Blazer uniform, nobody at the time knew that they were watching Dame's final game in a Blazer uniform. So you didn't have that closure, right? At least it didn't feel like it. And then he comes back and you get to shower him with praise. And you get to have that closure that you talked about, that you wanted, right? So I thought that was great. And then the fact that the Blazers come in and get the win is even better. Even better. Shacker, you better make sure you fix that YouTube, or my daughter's going to yell at you. If she's only looking at B back screen, she's going to be mad, okay? I'm just having fun with you. I'm having way too much fun.
Is she a Niner fan?
Is she a Niner fan? No. My 1-year-old, it's cute. My wife sends me videos now and then because she'll yell at the TV when she sees me on YouTube, because my wife will put the YouTube on the TV. And she'll, Dad, and she'll just wave at the TV. So I wave back now and then when she's watching. So if Tegan's watching, Dad's waving back. So I got to keep you on your toes. I don't care if you want to put the slate up the whole time. That's fine, but you don't got to worry about me. Got to worry about my daughter. And trust me, my daughters don't want to mess with those three. They'll get you. They will get you. They keep me on my toes. That's for sure. But back to Dame. I thought it was special. I thought it was special, and I thought the fans did too. Just because I hadn't seen that all year long. Just the love, right? And everyone just at Moda, smile on their face. And I think it would have been the same win or lose, right? I posted about a picture that some friends of mine and what they call the third bench, a group of Blazer fans who just got together and all bought season tickets in the same spot. So they go, 10, 15 at a time sometimes, taking a picture and just enjoying it, right? And that's special. And to me, that game really, really did kind of put the stamp down, proving what Rip City's all about, right? Because for that one game, it was about Dame and it was about Rip City at the end of the day. And all these fans coming together, finally getting their chance to, I think, really, truly, finally move on and just enjoy Blazer fandom. And I think it was Casey Holdall, Trailblazers insider, who you'll be able to hear right after this show with the latest episode of Blazers Balcony, pointed out that, that's why the Blazers need to turn the corner and be good again. Because when you get that type of atmosphere, you're reminded of how special Portland can be when things are going good, right? And now the season hasn't been going good as a whole. They're in rebuild mode. We know that. But for that one moment in time on a random Wednesday in January to start off 2024, in a season that had been full of downs, Rip City was up. Rip City was up. You were reminded in that moment what it means to be a part of Rip City. And it also shows you the power of Dame because even in another uniform, look what he did. I think he gave back. I think he gave back to Portland in a very special Dame way, in a way that only he can. So that was a unique game. And it's right up there with all the games that we've covered, right? The point nines, the bad shots, right? It's up there with those. And the emotion in that building was completely different, though. And you weren't cheering on like the one specific shot, right? Or the one specific victory. You were just cheering just in the moment and living within that moment. Like I said, I think in that game, people got to close the door on the Dame chapter finally the way they wanted to, and then move on. And then we're reminded about how special Portland can be. It's a unique game. It's one of those games I think if you were there, you're going to remember that one. You're not going to remember how many points Dame had or who had the most points for the Blazers, but you're going to remember the vibe inside Moda. So it was a special one. It was a special one. By the way, Shacker, my wife texted me. She said, thank you. She said my daughter was watching on the phone, and when Dad wasn't on the screen, she threw the phone.
Oh, no. Can we put them on the air? I want to hear what they have to say about the Blazers now that we're approaching All-Star break.
Well, they won't have much to say about the Blazers. They probably won't have much to say about the 49ers. They'll have plenty to say about, Gabby's Dollhouse and Bluey and what's going on in Minecraft. But other than that, right now they have. I'll tell you what. They'll have hot takes on homework. I'll tell you that much. They are throwing fits at that house today because doing homework is the worst thing man ever invented.
Or a hot take on the J-Lo commercial. Seems like that's all they talked about in sports talk today.
I just want to know how much money Temu or Timu, however you want to pronounce it. It's one of those ones. How much money did they dump in? They had like 10 commercials. So I don't think I saw the J-Lo one.
It was Dunkin' Donuts with Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was just too focused in on the game because the Niners were playing. I was like, halftime show, meh. Commercials, man, just get me back to the action. Kudos to Usher, though. He did pretty good. The first half was a little squirrely. It might have fell off. But they won. They won over the hearts of everyone when they turned it into a skate world couple skate, right? I mean, the only thing it was missing was a rose for him to hand out to any of the other people on the stage. You had the slow dance vibes. The skates were out. They were skating in circles. It was skate world, man. You could have closed your eyes. You would have thought you were in Gresham. Chad would have loved it. Oh, man. So they'll have takes on homework. That's what they have takes on. But, yeah, that was my thoughts on the Dame game. Wanted to get those out because, again, that was special. And if you were there, I think you understand what I mean by that. So thank you to Dame. Because, again, I think Dame was part of that, the reason it was special. He wasn't even wearing a Blazer uniform, which is crazy. Now there have been some reports of him coming out saying he wouldn't mind joining the ownership group one day. Can you imagine an ownership group a decade from now? Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, the front of that group? That's a question. Money not an option. What Blazer do you think would make a good owner or you would want as part of your ownership group? Dame would be up there, CJ be up there. And if we're going all Blazers, you got to get like a starting five, right? So you got to get Steve Blake and the Vanilla Gorilla Joel Prisbilla, right? They got to be in there. I mean, Steve Blake, you got to let him be an owner because he liked the Blazers so much. He left and came back like 10 times. I mean, that's love, right? You're like, no matter how many times you try to get rid of me, I'm going to keep coming back. And then Joel Prisbilla is on like the all-time I love him for being a Blazer team. I don't care what his stats were. He's my guy. I'm going to ride or die for him. And so you got one more spot to fill. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? That's a good question. Wouldn't mind. I'd give it to a local kid who was one of my favorite players growing up, Mighty Mouse, Damon Stoudemire. Let him come in, give back to the community. That'd be great. Now, the other thing that's happened since I last got to talk to you guys was the NBA trade deadline. That came and went last week. Everybody was looking at your Portland Trailblazers because I think everybody and their mother thought that Malcolm Brogdon was likely going to be traded. And it made sense, right? Big money deal. He's playing very, very well. And I thought he was going to be traded simply because you look at all the playoff teams, and I'm like, yeah, he'd be good in Denver. Oh, the Knicks, they traded Emmanuel quickly when they got the OG Anunoby deal. He makes sense there. Oh, I think the Pacers could use him. He makes sense there. Philly could use him. He makes sense. And so you're looking at all these playoff teams. You're like, Malcolm Brogdon makes sense. It's all about just making the money work, but he makes sense. And then the deals started happening, right? Oh, the Knicks made a trade, and they shored up their guard rotation with it. Yeah, so they're out on the Malcolm Brogdon deal. Oh, Philly, they got into a deal with Indy, and Buddy Hield's on the move. They shored up their bench problems with their guard depth. So everyone that you kind of thought was in on it was making those moves, right? Even Miami, who everyone jokes, there's no way Riley's picking up the phone if Joe Cronin calls. But they were, I thought, in play as well because Malcolm Brogdon just made perfect sense. But they got in on Terry Rozier, who makes sense for them as well. So all these teams that were kind of making sense for Malcolm Brogdon were kind of going out the door. So as that started to happen, I thought the reality was at that moment in time was like, yep, he's not getting traded, right? Also, when you're starting to see these bench guards, which is what Malcolm Brogdon is right now, good enough to start, but got to remember, reigning sixth man of the year. You aren't the sixth man if you're in the starting lineup all the time. When you're seeing these trades happen and they're going for multiple second-round picks and cap filler, okay, when that's the trades that are going down, like, okay, maybe moving off of Brogdon is not the best deal right now. Blazers don't need second-round picks and cap filler to get off of Malcolm Brogdon. When the trade happened for Malcolm Brogdon, everyone talked about the possibility of him being traded. It was like first-round pick was what went in your mind. Now, I know patience, it's a hard thing sometimes. And Blazer fans, oh, you realistically think that you're going to get more in the offseason than you were going to get at this trade deadline? It's stupid if you didn't trade him. I'm here to tell you why it's not. Because there is a chance that you can get more in the offseason. Absolutely there is. Think about how rosters restructure. You have teams right now that have a nice guard rotation that they like, but come the end of the season, so-and-so hits free agency or they make a trade. Now they have the whole Malcolm Brogdon makes sense. Boom. A team that maybe wasn't a player on February 9th is a player now. You have draft picks that get reset and the Stepien rules and all these things that shuffle the deck a little bit and give you different players, right? So you might get more. But the thing is, I don't think there's any situation where you get less. So panic move right now and take 2 second-round picks and cap filler, or take this into the offseason, see if you can get more. If the market says no, you still have what you could have got at the trade deadline anyway. But to me, it's the smarter move, right? Because right now you're telling me that the cap was basically, those second-round picks and fill, when in the offseason, that might be the bottom, right? There's a chance. This might still lean that way, but there's a chance to get more. Things reset. The way the CBA is going to kick in. There's so many factors here that I don't think that one is a complete loss. I don't. What's a complete loss in any of this is if you let a guy like him with value just walk, which I don't think they're going to do. I like where they're going. I still understand what the purpose is here. It's to build something in the long run here. Got to get Scoot going. Got to get Shea going, who's quite honestly might not play again this season after he had to undergo surgery to address that core injury of his. Malcolm Brogdon is out now for another 2 weeks dealing with tendonitis in the elbow. But I understand what the team did, okay? Not getting rid of Malcolm Brogdon, some people upset. To me, the smart move. Don't just sell to sell. Make sure you're going to get the deal that benefits you the most. I think that's what they're doing. Now, they did make a deal in all this, and I don't know if you were shocked or not, but they did make a deal with the Boston Celtics for a heavily protected second-round pick from the Blazers shipped out to Boston in return for Delano Banton, right? Who? Delano Banton. I, too, had to look it up. I was like, okay, there's a name you don't hear all the time. What's he going to do? How's he going to fit in? It's one of those low-risk moves. We're going to send you this second-round pick, which basically might not convey because it's basically top 55 protected is what I believe it was. And you get a guy in here who, again, like all these risks reward type moves, there's upside there. He's been in the league for a little bit, hasn't really shown major flashes, but he's played decently, and maybe you can get him and turn him into something. Do they? We'll wait and see. But so far, through two years, spent time in Toronto, spent time in Boston, he's averaging 3.5 points, 1.3 assists, 1.7 rebounds. A lot of that just garbage time minutes, the occasional start here and there. But Blazers threw him into situations in his very first game where they said, hey, you can go just have a ball, more or less, right? Just go do your thing. We are low on bodies, and we need someone who can get in there. I mean, come on. They're playing Haggins right now, who's a 10-day contract guy. So the roster's thin. So Banton gets in and played decently. I thought he played decently. He had, 12 points in the game, and you're like, oh, whoa. Little bit of flash here and there. What do the Blazers got here? Is he the difference between a championship and not? No. But in the situations right now, you spent nothing but a second-round pick to take a flyer on a guy, and he's young like everyone else. Maybe he can develop. We'll see. But in his first game as a Blazer, 12 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 25 minutes of action. And for a guy like that who hasn't had a lot of opportunity, you get opportunity. It's got to be pretty nice. It's got to be pretty nice, but don't take it from me. Take it from Delano Banton. He talked to the media after the game, and here is what he had to say. I got to make sure everything's set up here. Make sure you ever go to play the audio and then go, oh yeah, the audio's muted, Burkhardt. It's not. It's gonna hear. So here's what Delano Banton had to say following his Blazer debut. Yeah, there you go. There is Delano Banton following his Blazer debut. Good on him. He sounds like a guy who's just excited to get an opportunity. And some of these guys, you give them an opportunity that they haven't had before, and they'll thrive. So we'll continue to see what he does. It's always nice to just get a little fresh blood in there, get a little excitement. And again, he had 12 points, 3 rebounds. He looked pretty exciting, all things considered, in his first game. All right, if you want to join in on the conversation, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And we head out to the phones right now where we got Rich in Vancouver. Rich, welcome into Courtside. The floor is yours.
Hello. Hey, listen, I've been hearing you guys talk. I'm a radio fan.
Okay.
And I understand we got like 4 draft picks coming up in the next draft. Is that your understanding?
Right now they have their own pick, and they have the Warriors pick, so they're going to have 2 lottery picks for sure. See what their situation is with second-round picks as well. But the 2 lottery picks are what we're focused on.
Okay, well, what's out there? Who are they going to pick? I mean, is there somebody that's going to make a difference, or are we talking about another Shane Sharp? who's going to be hurt all the time or whatever.
Well, Rich, thanks for the call. And there's guys out there for sure, and especially if the Blazers are in their current situation. Right now, they're locked in. If the season were to end right now, the best odds of getting the 5th overall pick. Ideally, you'd love the math to play out to get just a little bit higher because there's some good names in this draft. I know Alexander Sarr is the one that everybody's watching, a 7'1" center out of France. Very, very athletic, got a great skill set. Also, another name that's starting to get a lot of buzz in mock drafts, small forward, too, a guy the Blazers would love, and that is Cody Williams, brother of, I believe, Jalen Williams, who's having a very good year with Oklahoma City, and some say he's more athletic and just NBA ready, too. So, no, there's names out there. There's names out there, absolutely. It's all about watching to see where it all falls. Because having 2 lottery picks as it stands right now puts the Blazers in a very, very good position. Think about one of the last times they had 2 lottery picks. I think they took a guy named Myers Leonard at 11. I don't know how that one worked out. But the other guy that they picked, his name was Damian Lillard in that draft. That one worked out pretty darn good. So we'll see where this one goes for your Portland Trail Blazers. Going to take a quick break here. When we come back, as my wife loves when I say, we're going to put a little bow on this show. Get you ready for a big game tomorrow against the Timberwolves. Chris Burkhardt here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Courtside Monday, where Shacker gets in my ear and goes, "You're on YouTube." He doesn't want to get yelled at by Tegan. He doesn't want another phone thrown. So good. See, you know what I like about Shacker? He learns fast. That's the type of guy you got to keep around. This is Chris Burkhardt. You can follow me on X at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can join the conversation over at youtube.com. Type in Rip City Radio and get the conversation going there. Or you can do the phone, 503-248-0620. We got just a few minutes left, so let's head out to the phones. We're friend of the show, friend of Courtside, friend of Game Day, friend of everything, Rip City Radio. Tall Tim is on the line. Tall Tim, the floor is yours.
Courtside Monday. I used to call, I guess, decades ago. So it's good to see it's kind of made its way back in Blazerland.
It is. We're keeping it alive.
Yeah, I love it. All right, I saw the kid that we got from Boston on Saturday, and what they had, 2 plays, 3 plays,
right?
But that guy knows how to get downhill, and and again, we don't know what kind of role he's going to have, with the pecking order and all that, but I think being 6'8", I mean, he could, once he develops some rapport with Ayton, that's a good lob pass, right? Because he's already a threat, and being tall like that, that's a lot easier to get that ball up there without getting, somebody ticking it off on you. And I was surprised at his lateral movement on defense, because some guys like that can just get taken off the dribble. But I thought he was pretty good, so I think overall he has to get a shot. Okay, that's probably his Achilles heel, right? If he can't get a shot, then he's not going to get minutes. But if he can get a shot, he might be able to come in and be a guy that can do something. So he's not a bad for 52 protected draft pick.
Right.
In the second round.
You basically gave up nothing for him, and second round picks can be bought with candy, if we're being honest. So, you take a flyer on a guy and you see how good he can be. So I like it. It's not a bad move at all, and appreciate the call, Tim. As always, you're always welcome back. Courtside will carry on. Just for you and everybody else. Right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Have a good one. The music means it's about time to wrap this bad boy up, though. We got to roll. It's been fun. Tomorrow, Chad will have Blazers game day for you at, math tells me 4:30. 6 o'clock, Blazers pregame show. Yours truly getting the chance to host that one again. And then a 7 o'clock tip, Blazers taking on the Timberwolves in the first of 2 games against Minnesota this week. As always, I've been Chris Burkhardt. Rip City, you've been amazing. But before we go, I got to tell you one thing. Even after a Super Bowl loss, I love you.